Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru,
भूले मार्ग जिने बताया, ऐसा गुर वडभागी पाया, ऐसा गुर वडभागी पाया। जे सो चंदा उगवे सूरज चढ़े हजार, एते चानन होंदिया गुर बिन कोर अंधार, गुर बिन कोर अंधार। फतेह जी, वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह। In many ways, when you look at the modern world and it says religion is outdated, I would say the thesis from a Sikh point of view is the world is catching up to Sikhi. Okay? And I'm going to prove it to you using ethics, science, and the science of the soul. So I'm not like, I'm biased. Yeah? I'm biased because Sikhi is more advanced than the world is. Yeah? So let's talk about what the modern concept of science is. First, ethics. The world is now just catching up with the idea that men and women are equal. They have equal rights in terms of deciding what people should be doing. But Guru Sahib, from the very beginning, 500 years ago, the first Sikh being a woman, has already put women on a high pedestal. Guru Nanak Dev Ji's words, now why do you call her bad, who gives birth to the kings? That's not like, okay, kings. Maharaj is saying, you follow these people, you call them great. Who are they made by? Right? Women. So why are you calling her bad? But in fact, you descend from her, and yet you discriminate against her. So Maharaj is always criticizing this idea that we should be doing that. Funny thing about a lot of Sikhs, they don't know this. They realize it, but they don't like explicitly realize it. We've got unisex names. Yeah? Baljit Singh, Baljit Kaur. If you say, what are you? You know, for the first name, you can't tell. The idea of the name is a spiritual thing, isn't it? Baljit, a warrior with strength. Yeah? Bal. So, Raj Indra, king of the kings. Indra is the king of the kings. Raj Indra means that Indra is king of the kings is Raj Indra. But it's not like, you know how you get in a lot of religions, you get Preeti. That's definitely a girl, yeah? You can have anything in Sikh. You can have Har Rai Kaur, you can have Har Rai Singh. You see, this is the interesting thing because it's unisex. It means that the soul has the same purpose. There's no separate purpose for women and separate purpose for men, right? And there's no kind of idea that some people are just destined to be reborn. For example, in that time, women in those days, under Hinduism, women were seen as the chappal. I don't know if you've heard that before. They were seen as a chappal. So they're supposed to be trod upon and kept down and never kept up. And then, if she's lucky, she gets to be reborn into the man. Right? So the women weren't actually going to get mukti anyway. They were going to get reborn and then get mukti. So Guru Sahib was not about that. Women actually can preach. Yeah? Guru Sahib themselves, the third Guru, set up women as preachers. In the current church, English church, they just had a vote a little while ago and they lost to set up women bishops. Yeah? Sikhs never had that question from the beginning. If any Panji wants to step up and start doing prachar, you can't stop him. Navleen Panji, who's obviously now stepped down because she did so much work, she's a famous person in our area, did loads of prachar. She got me into Sikhi. Yeah? She was at all the camps, doing kirtan, doing katha. That would not happen in a lot of places on an equal footing. Also, in terms of the 5Ks, they're equivalent to women and men. Yeah? You never heard of men saying, oh, she can't wear this cape because it's not for her. Yeah? It's for all of us. And one thing that's interesting about Sikhi is that this idea of the covering the woman up isn't very common. Obviously we all cover our head, yeah? But there's no kind of keep women separate. What we say is the onus is on the man to control his eyes, and not on the woman to keep herself covered up so that a man can never get lost. So Maharaj is telling us all the time that when you talk about sutak, which used to be like when women menstruate, they weren't allowed to come into the kitchen and cook and stuff. Guru Sahib criticizes that idea. He says, there's nothing wrong with what they do, but the sutak is in your eyes, which you look at another woman as yours. Who's not your woman, you look at another woman, that's sutak. So the onus is on the men to control themselves, which I think is actually quite advanced in terms of ethics. Obviously we know the idea about the one human race, yeah? But it also extends to no homophobia. Yeah? Very few religions actually have this built in. Maharaj never ever once says anything about this. Even if some people will say, well, I'm not sure if you could get two men to marry around Guru Granth Sahib Ji, right? I'm not the person to pass judgment on that, by the way. The Panth needs to decide upon that. And, the Panth needs to decide that. However, at no point do you see the Gurdwara objecting to somebody coming in and taking part in all the activities. Langar, Kirtan, Seva. None of that is like, you can't do that if you're X and Y person. Equality is built into Sikhi. And the system is made by Guru. We can't think of stopping someone coming to Gurdwara. We can't think of somebody stopping them coming to Langar. In a lot of places you can be stopped. I'll give you a good example. That Mohandas Gandhi wasn't allowed to go to some of the mandirs because it's Brahmin only. Yeah? So this is not something that doesn't exist now. It's still the case. In India, the Dalit untouchability exists throughout. Even now, to this day, you've seen the pictures, yeah? Women are discriminated against, especially from the lower caste. Big time. This whole Damini, it was a horrible thing that what happened to the girl when she was killed in India. But she was middle class and she was killed by lower caste people. She was upper middle caste. Sorry, class and caste are confused in India. But the lower caste are the guys that actually killed her. And there was a massive hoo-ha. 2 weeks later, lower caste girl was killed. No one cared. Yeah? So don't get fooled by the media. It's all biased in India. No homophobia, no question about colour, caste or creed. In fact, Guruji's first words are na koi Hindu, na Musliman. They actually say religion isn't about. And we know that because if you go to Harmandir Sahib, there's loads of people that are Hindu that come into the Gurdwara, Mata Take, sit down. No one says, why are you here? That's not our way. Yeah? We're open. The 4 doors of Harmandir Sahib give that away. So very, very advanced in terms of ethics. That's one of the things that got me into Sikhi. Just the ethical teachings. Yeah? Just from a non-spiritual point of view, I was like, wow, this is a really ethical way of living. And Langar shows that quality. Religious freedom. This is something which is key in the Western world, yeah? I'll come to this later in more detail. But actually, Sikhi has a great example of religious freedom that almost no religion has. Charlie Mukti. Who remembers the job that just finished, yeah? In West Brom. We remember Charlie Mukti, but here's an example of, in wartime, the head of a faith letting some people who didn't want to be there anymore sign a letter and leave. Apostates there, they were apostates and they came back. But at that point, Maharaj let them go. In war, in the First, Second World War, if you were at the battlefield and you decided, I don't want to fight this, yeah, you couldn't leave. It was desertion and you were shot. To discourage other people from deserting, they used to shoot people. Right? 16-year-old kids in the First World War that volunteered, who got scared, they were shot dead as well. There's a big hoo-ha about it. Read about it online. There's a video about this. So the Maharaj themselves, Guru Gobind Singh themselves, the leader of the faith, not the other people, themselves allowed that to happen. That's a great example for us to learn from. We have maximum freedom in our religion. To follow it or not, it's your choice. And a good example of that is Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. In their town they controlled, because they were kings as well, remember that, yeah? They weren't just spiritual leaders, they were political leaders. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji controlled territory. In that territory there was Muslims. The Muslims wanted a mosque. And Guruji built them one. Guru Ki Masjid is called. It still stands today. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji made a mosque. Yeah? Where's that example anywhere else? You can't find that stuff. It's really advanced, yeah? And Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji gave his life for religious freedom, for that principle, for the entire Hindu faith. So in terms of ethics, Sikhi's like well up there. Also, in terms of ethics, as a religion, Sikhi has a massive social kind of aspect to it. We're not about retiring off to Pahara, do our bhakti and not engage with the world, yeah? This was a common thing. Back in those days, if you decided to become spiritual, you left everything. Very common, you became a tyagi, you left your family, left your friends, and you deserted off into the mountains, and it was called Banvas. Ban is in the forest, Vas means to live in the forest. That's why people just retreated from the world. We don't do that. So we take this spiritual teachings, I'm going to come to in a bit while, and we apply them to society. Yeah? Sikh is always supposed to contribute to society. You never find Sikh beggars. As an ethical system, it's designed that you earn and you share. Right? And Guru Sahib says very clearly, who do we share with? Is it only with the Sikhs? Guru Sahib says, the Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji says, the mouth of the poor person is the Guru's golak. If you walk outside and there's somebody outside who's starving, and you give that money, gives that guy some food, okay, sometimes people think, I don't know, give him money. If you buy him a sandwich, you're actually feeding langar there and then, yeah, to Guru side. Not to yourself, you're feeding it to Guru, not to that person. The principle is, Spikenega's principle. Wherever he sees Guru. So he gives medicine to the people, that even the enemies. And that's a good example as well, yeah? We even feed the enemies, we even give medicine to the enemies. Yeah? It's not like we have some kind of agenda where we have to rule the world. And the Gurdwara is that school of seva and equality. So that system exists. You want to learn to serve people, start off in a Gurdwara, then you will go outside and you want to apply the same system outside. You need somewhere to learn this stuff, somewhere safe that you're used to. So the Gurdwara provides that to you, but it also teaches you equality. Because when you eat with people, like for example, I don't know if you guys have this at university, but when I was at Oxford, they had this high table, and then the middle table, and then you had like the plebs table, yeah? The plebs, I mean, student-wise, was the the graduates. So you had the master, the kind of masters and all those guys on the high table, and it literally was bigger table, bigger chairs, better food. Yeah, and it was just like no one questioned it. In every college, it was the same. And funnily enough, my college was slightly different. It was a Christian college. Yeah, and the monks, because they're obviously Christian, they had this one table, and everybody sat on the same table, and the master used to serve you the food. Yeah, because obviously the Christian ideal is that the leader is the one who serves everybody else. Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is great. When I used to go to my mate's college, I was thinking, man, this is really weird, because no one would eat together. Yeah, the Sikhi has that built in, just to have langar. And Emperor Akbar, like you saw this exhibition going on right now, the Mughal art exhibition. There's no mention of the Sikhs there, by the way. Yeah, but that interaction was massive. And why did they die out? Because of us. We destroyed that civilization. Yeah, they came over to take over India. They would have stayed there till now. Yeah, that history is not recorded. Anyway, Akbar comes to see Guru Amar Das Ji, and he has to sit and have langar. Yeah, to prove, even in Islam, that principle exists, but they don't follow it. Okay, alright. Now let's talk about science, yeah? So I talked about ethics, why I think it's more advanced. The world will come to Sikhi. Not in every country, even this country lags behind, but it will one day come towards Sikhi. Okay. Ik Oankar. Say it all the time, and the translation that's normally given to us, there is one God. It's a very, very base level of translation. That sentence, there is one God, refers to the Ik. What about Oankar? Yeah? And the thing is, we're not actually translating our original. Guru Granth Sahib, you're doing it a bit of a, the biggest biadbi is not valuing the wisdom, yeah? Ik is the one. You can call it singularity if you want, in the Big Bang Theory, yeah? We all know 14.3 billion years ago, there was singularity. The whole world expanded, right? That's what science tells you. The world is still expanding, but it came from a singularity. Ik, from that singularity, that was a sound that created the world. And then came Akar, expansion into the world. Akar means to be real. Or not real, but exist. Ik, Oankar. It's actually describing the Big Bang in one way. Right? And science will tell us, no, should we go through this, so I don't miss anything, yeah? Gurbani tells us that the world is going to come to not just the Big Bang, but the Big Crunch. Einstein knows about this as well, yeah? And Gurbani tells us, Kai bar pasaryo pasar. Kai bar, many times, pasaryo pasar. Pasaryo means to expand. So this world expanded. How can you expand unless you come from one, yeah? Kai bar pasaryo pasar. Sada sada ik oankar. So it's telling you the world was made many times. This is what's called the cyclical theory of creation, yeah? That the world went up, and goes back down, and goes back up. We don't know which number we're on now. There's been many worlds, universes before this, and they all went back to the one. So in terms of how we think of when time began, there's time before time. Yeah? And that's what the cyclical theory of creation talks about. And it talks about the background of the previous times. They're still there. And at the beginning of time, some people say, how could there be a sound? We said, Oong made the world, yeah? At that sound. How was there sound? The first thing that was created was hydrogen. Okay, that science will tell you. So all this hydrogen, like that, right next to each other, so you've got an atmosphere. And that's where you can hear the sound. Yeah? And that still exists. That sound can still be measured. Okay? That's how the world was made. Ik Oankar. And Maharaj tells us, Patala Patal Lak Agasa Agas. That's a multiverse theory, yeah? My wife, she's, I don't know why this girl contacted her. She got contacted by some American scientist who was studying multiverses, and she's now a Sikh, this lady, yeah? She just googled multiverse and religion, and Sikhi religion explicitly talks about this. Like it's deeply embedded into Sikhi. Maharaj talks about that many Brahman upon Brahmans exist. So this multiverse theory, the bubble theory of evolution of the world, is incorporated into Sikhi. In fact, the bubble theory is this kind of inflation theory on top of multiverses. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji in this slok actually calls this world like bubbles. He uses that exact word. Yeah? He uses that in water, like there are bubbles, that's how this world is made. It goes up and comes down. And in this bubble theory, they have decided that the world, multiverses inflate and then collapse into themselves within the massive creation. So there's worlds upon worlds upon worlds and dimensions upon dimensions upon dimensions. And Guru Wani is very clear that in fact this is not the only earth out there. This is called a Karam Bhumi. Karam Bhumi means a place where you earn karma, yeah? Because we're here to earn karma. So we're in Karam Khand. Taram Khand is a place to earn karma, yeah? There's many of those places. There's many other planets where people have to be judged upon their actions. Yeah? Our planet is related to this one. And recently I was reading the Week magazine and they said that, this idea of 8.4 million lives? Have you heard of that? So that's June. So I'll talk about that in a minute, but one of the things that was interesting was it said that the scientists have revised the number of species they thought existed from 100 million to closer to 5 million. 5 and 8, not that far apart compared to 100 million and 8. So it could just be, right, 8.4 million lives, yeah? And we go through them in this life cycle. Okay. So the first sound was Om, there was an atmosphere. Gurbani tells us that first there was air, then came water, then from water came life. When we go out there search for planets, what do we look for a sign of life? We look for water. Yeah? Water gives life. What's water made of? Yeah. H2O. Yeah? And science tells us first came hydrogen, and then it reacted, and then came water. Okay? And then from water came life. It's all built into Gurbani. Yeah? I know there's loads of pamphlets out there you can pick up on the Dawah table about Islam and science, etc., Christianity and science. But we have not done a very good job of putting this out. And it is deep. And that's just an ik oamkar. And in Japji Sahib, Kita Pasao Eko Kavao. Kavao is a word, sound. That's Om. Kita Pasao Eko Kavao. Tiste Hoye Lakh Dariyao. Rivers. From the air, from the word, came all the rivers. And the 8.4 million lives are also the rivers that we talk about here. Science has even got to this idea of reincarnation, transmigration of the soul. No clue. They'll get to it. Achha. Now, last thing I want to talk about with this science thing, yeah? So, this Hadron Collider. You know what they're looking for? Yeah. What's that supposed to be?
God particle.
Why is it called a God particle? Do you know?
It gives mass.
It gives mass. We don't understand why mass exists, yeah? We don't understand why anything even exists. This is the reason that we need to work out why does mass even exist. There's 3 things in this world. That's a very simplistic, I'm sure you lot can contradict me. But really, when it comes to things that we understand, there's protons, neutrons, and electrons, yeah? The difference between a proton and the neutron and the nucleus and the electron is quite far. Like at a molecular level, they're really far away from each other. If you collapsed all the mass in the whole universe, there's not much of it. If you took away all the gaps, there's very little actual real mass. Yeah? Which is a bit crazy to think about, but I've heard it's like a swimming pool, or maybe even smaller. Gurbani tells us, right, the whole world is supported by Naam. Naam is synonymous with Hukum. Yeah? Their will is the Naam. So, Eko Naam Hukum hai. Our Hukum is to do Naam Japna, but the world is supported by Naam. Maharaj says in Sukhmani Sahib, Naam ke tare sagal akar. The whole world is supported by Naam. So this thing that's supporting and giving mass to everything is God's name. We're connecting to that thing. Yeah? Now I want to talk about something which a lot of people don't talk about, which is the soul science. I'll talk to you about outward science. That's only Ik Oamkar. Maharaj says then there's Sat Naam. Yeah? Sat can mean what's true, what's real. But also it can mean the Hukum of God. What they put into creation, how they created it, how they set the system up. And what is that system? Naam. Naam is what is holding everything together, and Naam is what we need to connect to go to Sat. To understand the Hukam is to understand Naam. So, Sat Naam is the science of the soul. Although the world was created from this Ik, or Ankar, yeah, all of us were created at the same time. Ik or Ankar. We were once part of that Ik. Yeah? Where we are now, we're inside that Ik. Because it was an expansion, yeah? Nothing but Waheguru. We're now inside Waheguru. And all of us, if I can give you the analogy, if there was an ocean, and you put a glass in that ocean, yeah? And you took it out of the ocean, is there any difference between this water and that water? Same thing, yeah? All agreed? But there's a big difference. One's the ocean, one's a cup. That's the soul. Sab mein hai jyot hai soye. This de chanan, sab mein hai chanan hue. His light shines in everybody. We're like that glass. The problem is, yeah, the water in that glass, it used to love being part of the ocean. There's just a bond of love, there was so much joy, I'm one with the ocean, brilliant. Comes out the ocean, big pang of separation, yeah? Vijog, not sanjog, it's vijog now, and it's in pain. After that pain, sometimes it's forgotten, over many, many lifetimes, that pain is forgotten. And then, the soul goes, I'm now just this glass. There was never any ocean, I'm not part of this ocean. I deny the ocean even exists. Yeah? This is called pulna. Bhule marg, jine bataya, aisa gur, vatapagi paya. That's what we said at the beginning. The lost way, bhule marg, the lost way, jine bataya. Who told me this? Who told me this? Aisa guru. The guru, lucky person, finds such a guru who showed him the way back home. This is the journey of the soul. We came from the one and we spread out everywhere. Yeah? And everybody got a little soul. Animals got a soul, plants got a soul, yeah? Trees got a soul, and we got a soul. We come from there and we have to go back. This is the journey, that's it. Simple as that. Kita pasao eko kawao. This day way lak daryao. Each daryao can be the 8.4 million lives. Okay? The river of life. We're in the river of life, and this is the highest river. This is the one that can connect to God. None of the other ones can. So you imagine if you had 8.4 million chances, and this is it, this is your chance to go back home. Blow it, go back in. Yeah? That's why, very clearly Guru Sahib tells you in Rera Sahib, you achieve the body of a human being, this is your turn to meet God. Like we play cards, Pubby, Hillier, Pubby, yeah, you all like it. What happens if you don't play in Pubby? If it's your turn and you don't play? Pick up, yeah? No, you can't miss in Pubby, man. Yeah? You can't miss a turn in Pubby. You either pick up or you play. That's like life, yeah? Pay or play. Play the game, how our system is set up, that Naam is the way up, or pay the price, go back in. You're a hamster on a wheel. You cannot escape this. The Hukam is there for you. It's ours, such, jugaad, such, happy, such. And it will always be, Nana Kosi be such. Pay or play. Yeah? So I don't want to sugarcoat it. Yeah? A Hukam here. And Guru Sahib is here to teach you that Hukam. Right? So there's a way out, but Guru Sahib has come to teach you the Hukam. Eko naam Hukam hai. Nanak Sadguru diya bujhaye jiyo. The Guru came to teach me this. Yeah? He made me understand this Naam is the way out. So unless you say God's name, you cannot escape. Sorry. Okay. So, in terms of the spiritual science, right? The fact is, yeah, that spirituality is going to be something that will never become not modern. Everybody will always search for the meaning of life, no matter where you go. Right? You can kind of get it out of people, yeah, tell them what to think about it, but at some point they're going to think about it. Read that A Brave New World. People still start thinking about it at some point. Oda Saksi, great book, yeah. Now, Gurbani tells something very interesting, right? It says, and I just want to ask you guys to do something a bit strange, yeah? Just put your hand up for a second, like this, right hand. Now, just put your hand up, your head right here, okay? For those of you who know this is your Dasam Dua, just put your hands down. Sorry, I'll say it again. For those of you that don't know, right, that this is your Dasam Dua, if you don't know that this is something which is called Dasam Dua, yeah, just put your hands down. Those that know, keep your hands up. Sorry, click around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What anymore? 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. How many of you learned it from Basic Sikhi YouTube? Alright, I already got that 7 down to 4 now. Okay. No, I'm just joking, I'm just catching up. Okay. I'll bang on about it, that's why. So I'm just checking to see if any of you got it from elsewhere. So there's a real problem in our body, yeah? We physically have a spot in our body called Dasam Dwar, which allows us to connect to God. Right, you remember that analogy of the soul that came out of the ocean, yeah? We're all that soul, and we deny that we're part of that ocean. We miss that ocean, right? But now I want you to imagine that this is like a ball, not a glass, right? Like the washing up liquid, sometimes you get a ball, you put it in the swimming pool, yeah? I want you to imagine that ball is floating on top of the ocean, yeah? It's actually inside the ocean, it's all around. Now, for it to merge, very simple, this is why the analogy works. All you need to do is do a hole, yeah? What will happen is over time it will merge, right? Here's our hole, right on top of the head. This is not something that only Sikhs have, by the way. Gurban tells us that all human beings have this hole. It's called the Dasam Dwar, the 10th door to our body. Okay? And I'll count to the first 9 just because you guys will think, 10th door? Pehle no daso. What are the first 9, yeah? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah? 2 of those. Kids always snigger at this point. Okay. So 9 visible doors, 10th one is kept hidden. Gupt. But it's there. It's like the aerial on a phone. Phone aerial, no one knows where it is. Unless you have an iPhone 4, touch the wrong place, short circuited. Otherwise, you never even notice it's there. But it's there. The proof is it connects. As a body, as a human being, if you connect to God, you feel that 10th door. You feel it activate. Ananda Anaya. If you think this is something that only Sikhs have, go and read Descartes, father of modern philosophy. Yeah? How does he find his philosophy? He gets trapped in an Aga oven. You know those big Aga ovens? In the French Revolution when they're trying to kill the bourgeois. He's in this oven and he starts just going off into an out-of-body experience. Yeah? Because you can do that when you do meditation. And he starts writing about the soul being like a captain in a ship. The ship is the body, the soul is the captain. And where does he say this connection comes from? Right up here, the pineal gland at the top of the head. Yeah? What the Buddhists consider the flowering spot of the 1,000-petal lotus, where the God revelation comes from. What do Hindus call the 7th chakra? What do Jews cover their head? Up here. It's everywhere, man. You should open your eyes, you'll see it. Every religion knows about this stuff. Yeah? They just don't. Some religions actually specifically say it doesn't exist. Right? They'll deny that you can actually connect to God. But they've got Sufis as well that know about this. Yeah? Famous guy, Paul Mansoor, claimed, I am God, I've become one with God, picked up his jacket and he goes, underneath his coat there's nothing but God. He was killed in a very horrible way. Yeah? Some people look at God like a mountain, just worship the mountain. Other people, like us guys, and other people want to actually climb that mountain and go up to the top. And the Guru, for us, is like a rope from above. You can climb a mountain if you go mountain climb. You can climb it using the friends, you clip them in. Yeah? It's hard, it'll take a lot of time. There's one crucial problem, yeah? What if your rope is not long enough? That's it. At some point you run out of rope, you have to climb without a rope. But if you climb using the rope from above, you're guaranteed to get there. Yeah? Guru is that rope from above. He's been sent from above. Okay, so you can meet God and your soul can merge, okay, with God. It's much bigger world, as Shakespeare said. The world is much bigger than what we can see. Yeah? Guru Bani tells us straight. That's what I said at the beginning. Jai so chanda ugve, suraj chade hajar, ete chan hondeya, gurbin kor andar. There was 100 moons and 1,000 suns. Without the Guru, we're in complete darkness. So that means this is not something that you can see with your eyes. It's not light from the eyes, yeah? 100 moons, 1,000 suns, a lot of light. Even in the dark or the light, you can still see. This is not that kind of light. This is the inner light, when you can see your soul and you can see God. That's what we're trying to get to here. Open up this 10th door, start connecting to God. And the first sign, you all know about, because you sing about it whenever you go to Gurdwara. And it's called Anand. First sign is Anand, bliss, spiritual bliss, where you feel as high as a kite. Yeah? Ananda Pyar Meri Mai. You don't have to put your hands up. Anybody partaken in the odd reefer? Well, you probably haven't. I did quite a bit of it before I became a Sikh. Yeah? You get higher off now than you could ever get off drugs. Yeah? Joint, weed. She definitely does smoke the weed. Well, you know, like, he gets changaya. If you become like me, if you remember 100 times, you rock the joint. Okay. So there's a divine experience you can have in Sikhi, yeah? And Sikhi is about recreating that divine experience. And when you look at the people in the Gurdwara, like my brother is a good example of this, he's Mona, yeah? He sees people in the Gurdwara sitting there doing Waheguru, sing Kirtan, he thinks, what are they on? Yeah? Because it's like an alien world, yeah? You don't understand, why do people do it? When you understand Dasam Dwar, and you understand the idea of connecting to God, that's how you connect to God. Kirtan, in this dark age of Kaljug, is the highest form of connecting. Easiest way to connect. We love music, our soul loves music. This is about connecting to God. So when it comes to modern, yeah, this is the most modern. In this Kaljug, highest form is music. And Gurbani is taking that to the next level by giving you a science of rag, science of connection. Clear out all the other rituals, clear out all the different stuff that doesn't make any sense. Stick to singing to God and calling God directly. Like a sher, yeah? When a sher is in a forest, everybody runs away. So falsehood is like the deer and stuff in the... Falsehood runs away when a sher stands up and goes, Waheguru, direct to the one. No one else. That's how you should think yourselves. Yeah? Calling God like a lion. Gurbani tells us that directly. Mara says, within the sheep, there's also lions. So you decide who you want to be, sheep or lions. You can call God direct, or you can become like the sheep with your head down, following what everybody else tells you. But you, as an individual, personally, walk around with the Dasam Dwar on top of your head. When I said to you at the beginning, Sikhi is yours, the way to look at it is, your Dasam Dwar is yours. You decide whether you open it or not. But you got two eyes, and you wouldn't want them to be closed. You got two ears, you wouldn't want them to be closed. So you think I'm poor, and the other one must be the one that was kept hidden from you. You might say, why? Why was it kept hidden from you? It's not hidden from everybody, but it's hidden from most of us. Why? For there to be light, you must start with darkness. Science will tell you that. Because when you have light, there's no more darkness. So you need to start with darkness. Yeah? Then there will be light. Okay. So Guru, like we're in a university now, so the example of the university, Guru is the one who wrote all the books in this university of spirituality. All the books are inside Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You want to go through Naam, it's in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You want to go through Kirtan, it's in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You want to go through Seva, it's in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You want to go through Simran. Anything you want, Guru Sahib is like the head person who sets the syllabus. Yeah? And there's loads of teachers out there teaching it. So they're all somehow part of this one system. The Sikhi encompasses everything. Wherever there is some sachai, it's in Guru Granth Sahib. You won't find it outside. When you meet that guy who's living, you watch some guy who's a Sufi who spins around in Turkey, he's connecting. His way is in Guru Granth Sahib. Yeah? It's not like that you can get to God, right, from a way that's not talked about in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, because it has to be through love. It has to be through this way. So, Sachika ho saleo sabedin prem kiyo, then he prapayo, means don't worry about the label. Love is the way. The Guru is showing that way of love. And other people are walking that way. They just don't call it Sikhi. But it is still Sikhi. Yeah? And we don't care about the label anyway. There is no Hindu. There is no Muslim. You're all welcome to Harmandir Sahib. We need to get out of this way of thinking that Sikhi is like an exclusive way. Sikhi is the inclusive way to God. It's not the exclusive way to God. You can be a Sikh and not even know it, and we don't even care about calling you. That's cool. As long as you're not harming anybody, it's not a problem. The wisdom is there for you to take, learn, and keep in your religion. It's Christians that say, can I be a Christian and be a Sikh? I say, you can't be a Christian and be a Sikh, but you can be a Christian and you can learn from Sikhi. Be something. But, okay. So it's like the world is blind, along comes a teacher who has perfect vision. Yeah? And he's showing us the way, right? And we need to follow that for us. The Sikhs, so this is the card you pull out, that entitles you to go to Gurdwara and get that gyan which is the inner gyan, and actually open up dozen dwar. 6 billion.
Vaheguru, Vaheguru.